we give you the option.
Welcome to The Option. I'm James. With me, as always, I got Phil, Nick, and Frank. Sammy couldn't be here today, but we'll definitely trek on without him. Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Pretty good, man.
Good. For our American folks, today is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out in the U.S. We hope you guys are enjoying the episodes and having some turkey today, and of course, watching some football. We'll be talking about those games a little bit later. Do you guys have some good fantasy weeks this week? Anyone have some heartbreak? I know I did.
I think I lost them all again. It's not a good cause.
I got one league, man. I got such a good team on paper, and for some reason they cannot score over 100 points in a fantasy week if my life depended on it. And if it wasn't for bad luck, I don't think I'd have any luck at all. It's insane.
I know the struggle. I got the same thing. I got Mahomes and Josh Allen in a league with a stacked 5 running backs, and I still can't win in that league. I don't know what to do.
Oh, man. Anyways, forget fantasy. Let's talk a little bit about football here. Did you guys, this week was an interesting one. It wasn't really much in the headlines. It was just a standard NFL week, not really any key injuries or anything at all like that to really discuss. I think the majority or the main thing to talk about really was the fact that these number one seeds or number one division leaders keep losing. And it looks
NFL
like there's
parity at its
there's no lead team in the NFL anymore. Like I can't sit there and say who is the top dog anymore because it looks like on any given Sunday anybody could lose, which is great. I mean, not for betting wise, but
not for anyone who's cheering for a particular team, but I love it for the entertainment aspect. And I mean, if you're betting too, you're probably getting killed on a weekly basis.
Probably.
Yeah, it's just crazy. We've had 3 weeks in a row, I think, where at least 3 or 4 top seeded teams have all lost to a team that they were projected to obviously beat and or had a huge spread against. It's crazy. This week we had, again, the Bills lost again. The Cowboys lost again. The Titans lost another one. And there was a fourth one. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, there was another one there. Like it's crazy how, these teams are going in. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Yeah. It's insane. It's like, you can't predict what's going on. And
the Rams were on a bye.
Were they? I was still thinking of 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Rams were on a bye. I still feel that, though. That San Francisco crushed the Rams. I still think about that. I forget that we played Jacksonville this week.
Here we go back to the San Fran 49ers.
Hey, this is not a San Francisco podcast, okay? I'm tired of this San Francisco.
But we keep winning. It might turn into that.
If it turns into one, it'll be just you speaking by yourself to you and to yourself again. Like that's the only people that'll be here.
Well, that's probably because it'll come at the expense of the Dallas Cowboys, so you guys won't show up.
Yeah, you better be careful.
Sammy will be here. Frank will be here.
Be careful,
Phil. We'll all cheer
you're
for the 49ers
together. You're starting to sound like the Cowboys fans, Phil. You better be careful.
Touche.
Hey, we're right here. We can hear you. Thank you.
Sorry. For real. What the heck? At least we're not the Detroit Lions
we can't hear you because you didn't win this week.
It's not like I called that they were going to win. Come on.
You're still going to hear me whether you like it or not. That doesn't change anything. It just hurts a little bit, and we're not going to talk much about this week's football game. So let's move on.
Wait, I do want to bring up with the Tennessee Titans, though. They've now lost to the who was it? The Jags and the Jets? Oh, no, Houston and the Jets. Those are their two losses.
Houston and the Jets.
Houston and the Jets. So a team that is 8-2, well, now it's 8-3 after this week. Are they doing the old scenario that we see with sports teams where they play down to those lesser teams because they're like, oh, it's an easy win, and then they just get, reverse psychologied up here and they lose? Or what's going on over there? How are you losing to the two bottom end teams in the NFL?
I mean, it's a safe assumption that it would be something as crazy as just reverse psychology because I can't come up with a logical explanation why the Titans, who we deemed as being the hottest team in the AFC, would lose to two of the worst teams in all of football. But I mean, maybe you chalk it up to the whole 2021 season where juggernauts just happen to drop a game to a team that you would never expect them losing to, especially the Titans, who maybe with their previous loss and Tyrod looking really bad when he came back from his injury, he wanted to bounce back. The team rallied behind him. They looked really good, and Tannehill made a shit ton of mistakes.
Yeah, he did.
Kind of was the way the game planned
He
out.
threw 4 picks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, not very good.
But I think it's also the fact that you're starting to see the effect of Derrick Henry not being there. They don't have that same run game anymore.
No.
They're not as scary. People aren't as worried. And I mean, AJ Brown got hurt twice in this game, had to leave. They don't have a backup wide receiver. They just signed Golden Tate this week.
They did? I didn't hear that.
He's going to be. Yeah, Golden Tate signed today. So, and they signed 3 other players. I don't know if Julio will be back or when. I mean, we also don't know if AJ Brown's going to play this week. It's an interesting conundrum that they're in. And honestly, I think it's just the fact that the wear and tear is finally catching up and that they're going to start to possibly spiral in the wrong direction. But,
it's very possible. Yeah. I mean, they were really healthy and playing at the top of their game. And as the injuries started to mount up, that can affect you psychologically as well. And that confidence starts to dwindle and you don't play at your best and you start dropping games.
They lost 2 or 3 guys on the defensive side too, because I had a few in fantasy, a Long Jr. and another guy I had, and both got hurt. And ever since then, the defense has been a little bit off. It's not the same, and you could see it. And I think this could be the turning point where we kind of are being like, okay, maybe they're not who they say they are, and they might squeak into the playoffs still because there's 7 spots and they're so high. But I don't consider them the top team. I mean, a lot of people still say it's the Bills, but the Bills can't seem to win those games either. So now it's not the Bills. The Baltimore Ravens have lost big games. KC is moving in the other direction, but they still can't score points. I mean, they beat my Cowboys, but they only scored 19 points. Technically, it was the Cowboys offense that beat the Cowboys because they couldn't score on that defense. And, you know, the defense for the Cowboys was there. They just, if you could have told me a few weeks ago the Cowboys would hold KC to 19 points, I would have never thought that they would have lost the game. I would have been like, "Oh, that's amazing, right?" So
30-19 or something. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I as much as they lost the game, I mean, at least the defense was there. They just got to figure out what's wrong with Dak and the offense. But the other problem is they only ran the ball 4 times. You can't win a game with only running Zeke 4 times. That offense is built around Zeke. You need to use him first so you can pick up the pass and go from there. But that's a whole nother story. But at the end, the whole thing is that all these teams are all over the place. We don't have a clear-cut number one. Green Bay lost that game to Minnesota. I called that last week. I had a feeling something was going to happen there because Minnie's been playing really good, and they did. They went in there, almost lost, but they came out and they won that game, and they held Rodgers in check. I mean, you know, it's interesting. The only team that seems to still be winning without their stars is the Arizona Cardinals. They're winning without Murray and Hopkins.
Crazy.
Big upset by the Browns this week. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Big upset.
The big upset there. I don't know what Baker's doing. I don't know if he can still play anymore, that guy. I mean, he is just like his body is stuck together with tape at this point.
He didn't look good. He did not look good.
There's been a few articles out there where he's just totally losing the locker room, apparently.
That's the only reason he was out there.
I think they need to shut him down. I commend him for having the heart and the drive that he has, but I mean, he does not look good, and it's just bad.
Yeah. That whole thing with OBJ and OBJ's father releasing the tape about all the times that OBJ's been open and Baker hasn't seen him or hasn't thrown his way was really just the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
That was really, really hard to watch, where he seemed like he had no idea that there was any tension between them, and both guys were kind of ignoring each other. And when you have 2 stars on a team, one being the quarterback and one being this high-profile diva wide receiver, that's going to affect everybody in the locker room.
Yeah.
But they seem to have chose Baker. They all sided behind Baker. They all wanted to go that route. I mean, we'll really find out in the offseason when they either pay Baker the money that they think they're going to pay him or they don't. If he doesn't get a contract, obviously they had no faith in him or OBJ. But if he does, then, you know, that's where they're going to go. But I think he needs to sit. He needs to rest. He's not 100%, obviously. And I think it's affecting him. And it's showing up on the field. They're not a team that people are really worried about. It's the run game. If you can figure out a way to stop that run game, you don't have to worry about the throws. It's just like the Philadelphia Eagles. If you could figure out how to stop their running back, Jalen Hurts, you can stop that team.
That is their running back. It's wild.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time Jalen Hurts threw a touchdown. Do you guys remember? Greg, well, you have him in a few leagues. How many times? When was the last time he threw a touchdown?
Oh, I don't know. Lots of rushing touchdowns also.
Yeah, he runs for a ton of them, but he doesn't throw any. It's like he's a running back in the quarterback position. So it's crazy. But yeah, so anyways, the NFL is upside down. It's all over the place. There's no clear-cut ones. That's the moral of the story. We'll see if it continues or if someone takes a stranglehold on this. But in speaking to that, we've also decided that this week we're going to go through our most valuable players at each position and kind of talk a little bit about some players and see who we think are the players that people should be looking at or at least giving some credit to for the season. So let's start with the quarterbacks. Gentlemen, who is your most valuable quarterback this season to his team? We'll break this up. So we'll start with Phil. Why don't you give us your first?
I'm going to start with me. This was tough, but based on the fact that most of the top end quarterbacks that you would expect to be in this conversation, dropping games to lesser teams or at one point being in the MVP conversation and have been questioned. So you have guys like Lamar and Stafford and Brady and Mahomes, even Josh Allen losing to the Jags. So as it stands right now, I think in general, I would have to go with Tom Brady as my MVP at the quarterback position. The 44-year-old all around has been the most consistent to me, aside from maybe last week against Washington. And I think without him, that team would be really struggling right now with the way the defense has been playing.
Yeah, I actually, that's my pick as well. I think Tom Brady, I think he's the front runner right now for MVP as well. Last time I checked the actual odds on that and to see what a 43-year-old can do and what he's doing, the numbers he's putting up is just ridiculous at this point. And, it's unheard of. He's got, as of right now, 3,177 yards. He's leading the league in touchdown passes with 29. He's only thrown 8 interceptions. I mean, it's crazy. He's got a passer rating of 104.3 on the season.
Yeah.
He's 43 and he's doing this, guys. We're talking he's doing better than guys that are, half his age. And it's as if his numbers are getting better as he gets older, if that makes sense. So that's who I'd pick as well. Frank, do you have a different guy? Or are you looking the same boat? Where are you looking?
I mean, if you're looking at most valuable to his team, you call me crazy, but to me,
I do all the time. Don't worry.
I know you do. But to me, Jared Goff is the most.
I mean, based on last week, if we're going by last week or backups, you could easily say that Ben Roethlisberger is the most valuable quarterback because Mason Rudolph's pretty bad too.
Yeah, I don't think Jared Goff was most valuable to his team even in college, let alone now or any NFL.
That's not true. Over exaggeration.
I don't know, but all right, let's see where you're really going.
Well, if you're talking most valuable to his team, I mean, the record doesn't necessarily show it now, but if it continues the way it's going, I think they have a chance to get in there, especially with the 7 playoff spots now. It's not a name that's talked about a lot, but if I tell you a guy who's got 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions this year, who does that?
Wow, I was picking the same guy. You son of a gun.
Well, who's that? Who is it? Tell him, Nikki.
It is Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. Without Kirk Cousins, what's Minnesota? The run game has been, I mean, Dalvin Cook's been okay this year, but not.
He hasn't been MVP special, levels. Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, he hasn't.
No.
So you take Kirk Cousins out, then there's definitely no passing game, no Jefferson, Thielen. I think they're a totally different team, and the only chance they have is with Kirk Cousins in there right now, I think.
Now, don't get me
I'm
wrong.
looking at his.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins doesn't have the yardage that, Mahomes and Brady are throwing right now. He's close.
No.
He's off by
He's
a
not
bit.
that far.
He's off by a bit.
Yeah,
I agree.
He's got 2,700. That's not that far, and 21
But
TDs.
that TD
I
to
like the 2
interception
interceptions.
ratio is insane right now for Kirk Cousins. And
especially
his
for Kirk
passer
Cousins.
rating's a 106.4. I mean, the way Kirk Cousins has been playing right now with the Vikings has been super well, and that is what's helping the Vikings win these games. I mean,
So
Is this not a contract year for Kirk?
I think he's got 1 year left.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I think he has 1 year left. But it's funny you guys said Minnesota because I was reading up on some stuff on Minnesota recently, and they are the only team that has led in every single game they played, even though they lost as many as they did.
They always lead every game. Yeah.
And they've put up the same, like they've been there in every single game. I think they've only lost most of them 3 or 4 points, less than a touchdown for almost the majority of all their games. They've been right there. They just happen to be on the wrong side of some of them because their defense is really bad. But you're right. Kirk Cousins has been really good. He's gone under the radar. I've got him in 2 fantasy leagues, and the guy's putting up points every week for me.
Yeah.
So they're throwing, but that's also because their defense is so bad.
Their defense hasn't been that bad. They've been pretty tight games.
It's been better the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
They struggled really early on with the injuries and stuff. But I do really like that pick. Kirk Cousins is definitely honorable mention. He should be in the conversation of most valuable quarterback for their team.
I agree.
Yeah.
What about Patrick Mahomes? Would we consider Patrick Mahomes someone who's most valuable to their team still, even though he's had an up and down season? I mean, he's back
I would
up
say
there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And his numbers are right there. I was looking at Mahomes to Brady. They're right there. I had Dak up there before this last little stretch
Before
with the
these last 2
Cowboys.
games.
Now I'm starting to be like, ooh.
Yeah. Even
Yeah.
Kyler, if it wasn't for the fact that he's missed a few games now, he would have been right
Kyler's
there in the
up there for
See,
conversation.
sure.
they're
And the
still
team
winning
wins
without
him.
Kyler, though. And
Yeah,
that
yeah,
tells
yeah.
me that it's not just Kyler anymore.
Yeah. Cliff Kingsbury for coach of the year.
I like that.
I think so.
Definitely.
I think so.
He's
Definitely
doing
like
such
that.
a good job.
Yeah.
He's lost players on offense and defense, and he's still running it, right?
Yeah.
And it's the biggest difference from record last year.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Non-playoff team to pretty much first in the NFC. As much as I like Vrabel and what he's done with the Titans, I think for me it's Cliff.
It'll come down to how they finish in the season, but I think
Yeah.
it's Cliff's to lose as of right now. I definitely
That's a ball
go that route. All right, let's move on to the next position. This one's a little bit easier. Probably won't talk too much about it, but let's move on to the running backs. Does anyone not think Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the NFL right now? I think we'll just come out and put his name out there. I mean,
Yeah.
it would obviously be King Henry if he was still playing because of the numbers he had before getting hurt. I think Jonathan Taylor just passed that 3 or 4 games later, but I think it's safe to say Jonathan Taylor is the guy as of right now across the board, right, guys?
Yeah.
Anyone have a different guy that's the okay? So,
Yeah.
so Jonathan
I
Taylor
definitely
is the
think
best.
Jonathan Taylor is the running back. But much like Frank and Nick brought up Kirk Cousins and his value to his team, I like to mention Nick Chubb.
Agreed.
Nick Chubb, his stats are right up there with Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry, other than the fact that he's missed some games. But when he plays, the Browns are a totally different team. If you've watched any game, when Chubb is on the field, the Browns are in every game. They can play any opponent. If you look at the betting lines, they're always close. They're not big dogs. And without that run game, Baker struggles. The offense struggles. Chubb has the same yards per carry as Jonathan Taylor. Pretty much the same averages.
Yep. I agree. The only thing that Chubb doesn't have right now is the touchdowns.
The touchdowns, yeah.
It's crazy, and Chubb missed some games too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's missed a few games. He's only played 8, where Jonathan Taylor's played 11.
Yeah.
What's interesting too is Chubb's even more dangerous when he's got
Kareem Hunt.
Hunt in there with him.
The duo
Those two guys are
together.
in the game
Yeah,
together.
when
It's crazy.
I agree. When he signed, I thought they was going to take away from Chubb, but really all Kareem Hunt did was take away from receiver touches.
Yeah.
Can you guys guess who the number 4 rushing leader in the league is? So Jonathan Taylor's 1 at 11:22. Derrick Henry's still second at 9:37. Nick Chubb is third at 851. Can you guys give a guess on who's fourth?
Mark Ingram.
Yes.
Mark Ingram.
793 yards. I would have never guessed Mark Ingram.
I feel like he's only played like 3 games, but I mean, nobody watches those Houston games.
That includes his Houston.
Nobody
numbers,
watches Houston, right?
Yeah. He's ahead of Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, Najee Harris, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts.
But he might have had an extra game if he already, because of the buys, because he got traded.
It's crazy. I would have never guessed that. Oh my god!
He might have played one more game, though.
A guy that I think is an honorable mention. I mean, he's probably the only player on his team. Frank, this is your team that I want to talk about. Is Deandre Swift? That guy has been amazing for Detroit this season. He's been the only thing for Detroit this season that I'm seeing out there. Their games,
especially when they have nothing there. Right?
You see it more. Yeah.
Every defense playing Detroit is going, okay, everyone in the box, stop DeAndre Swift.
They still can't.
And
he
can't.
Still gets you 100 and something all-purpose yards. He still catches.
And it's not on the most 30 catches. Carries for like 4 yards a carry. He's breaking off 50-yarders, 25-yarders, catching 8 balls a game. He is doing absolutely everything.
He's leading all running backs in receptions. He's leading all running backs in receiving yards. I think he's got the broken tackles.
Yeah, he makes guys miss. He reminds me of Barry when he does that. Like he'll put a foot in the ground and cut, and he's gone.
But much less flashy.
Yeah,
he's such a good one cut guy. Yeah,
he's like a video game.
He's got
player.
good vision.
Like, he'll just take a step, and he's like all of a sudden he's like, where'd he go? It's like he's like
turned into a top 5 running back, and people are noticing. And it'll be amazing when Detroit does finally get a quarterback next year, hopefully in the draft, and get a few other pieces around him, what they could do.
And when
him.
that O-line's healthy, they've been missing Frank Ragnow. Once they get Ragnow,
it could be interesting to see what he could do in a full season the way he does. But it's been fun to watch him. I know Detroit hasn't won many games this season. I can't remember how many, but I mean, without him,
Thanksgiving they're gonna win. I'm telling you.
Do you guys know who number 10 on the list is? And he's not a running back.
Oh, it's got to be Hurts.
It is Hurts.
It's Hurts.
Do you know how many touchdowns Hurts has rushing?
9 or 10 at least.
But we just
I
talked
know
about
we just talked, but I'm actually seeing the
Jalen
numbers
Hurts
now.
is
He has
a running back in a quarterback position.
How many?
8 rushing touchdowns to Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's wild.
So honorable mention, Jalen Hurts, most valuable running back.
Jalen Hurts playing the
I don't know.
position.
Lamar Jackson's still up there too, man. I don't know. That's those two there.
But Lamar,
right,
Lamar has grown a lot in his pass game this year.
Yes.
Getting some wide receivers and Mark Andrews remembering how to catch again.
Yeah.
He's definitely changed his game there. Let's move into something that I don't know. Maybe we won't have. Well, maybe we'll have 4 different guys here. But let's talk about the wide receivers. And
I'd be surprised if we had 4 different guys here.
For real.
We could have a couple different here or there, but who is the most valuable wide receiver to his team? Now, that's not the best wide receiver because we've already established that Cooper Kupp's probably the best wide receiver this season.
Statistically,
Statistically,
but
I don't think
break record.
I don't think he's the most valuable wide receiver to his team because I think if Cooper Kupp wasn't there, they probably could still put up some numbers that they have with the other wide receivers up until before Woods got hurt, of course. I said before
losing Robert Woods hurts a lot, but I mean, if you were under the assumption that OBJ was there from the start of camp and knew the playbook already, he could have filled that role, I think is what you're assuming, right? They do have weapons.
Yeah. So, Nick, why don't you start? Who's your most valuable wide receiver this season?
Ooh.
Unless you thought it was Kupp. If you thought it was Kupp, that's cool. I'm just curious.
I mean, again, I'm with you in the same sense of Kupp is basically statistical wise this year. He's just on a tear. As for most valuable, though, to their team, I'm going to have to pick. I mean, Phil, I bet you this is your guy's name, but I have to go with
100%
Debo.
it is.
Honestly, I can't not go with Debo.
Anyone who knows me knows I'm taking Debo.
It's got to be your name there.
Bias.
But Debo's just been on a tear, and the fact of not only is he doing so well in the receiving game, but it's the fact that San Fran can use him as such a big utility player where he gets put in as a better running back than all the other running backs on San Fran. He's catching balls and getting touchdowns like crazy this year. It's just, and he's been doing it while with still having a lingering injury. But it's just what I've seen Debo do and how he breaks off for these crazy long plays every week, like week in, week out. There's no shock when I get that message saying, "Oh, Debo gets a touchdown for 65 yards plus." Like, it's no shock to me that he's doing it, and I think he's the biggest thing that's helping San Fran do so well this year.
I agree 100%. I mean, just to add on to that, if you look at the numbers, as much as Cooper Kupp's numbers are absolutely ridiculous, he's got about just over 1,100 yards on the season, but that's on 80 receptions. Debo has 994 yards, so just shy of 1,000 yards on 55 receptions. Yep. That's 30 less receptions, 25 less receptions for Debo. He averages 18 yards per reception, which is bananas, and 7 yards per carry.
Crazy.
So that guy is literally doing everything for his team. This week he had 80 yards rushing and a touchdown.
I told you, he's a better running back than all the other ones.
That is nuts.
I mean, yeah, he's been great. They lean on their other running backs a little bit too, but yeah, I mean, he's hard to not say, if he wasn't there, would San Fran be doing what they're doing? I don't know. Frank, who's your wide receiver?
I mean, it's not a guy that you think. I think part of his value is the quarterback he's with. I think Jamar Chase, a lot of it has to do with being with Burrow, with that connection, making him so valuable. But I think without Jamar Chase, Burrow doesn't have that same connection with his other guys. I think he's the reason the Bengals have 6 wins, and I think that he's also the reason they got the 4 losses. Like the 4 losses, he didn't do too much, but their 6 wins, he's got crazy stat lines. So I really think he's a big part of that offense, and I think the Bengals would be a totally different team without him.
I actually really like that pick, Frank. I did have Chase on my list of consideration. Same. I definitely would have never picked him over my home favorite, right? But I like Chase for that exact reason. Mm-hmm. If you think about it from a logical perspective, there's no reason why Chase should be that impactful on that team. Right. But when you watch the games, you see a lot of Joe Burrow running for his life still. Mm-hmm. That O-line has not really come together. They did add some pieces, so they are a bit improved, but they're not where they need to be to protect a franchise quarterback. So a lot of the time you see Burrow just chucking it in the direction of his star receiver, trusting that he will be there because their timing is excellent from all the years they've played together, right? And they trust his skill. So to me, that is the ultimate security blanket for a quarterback when you have absolute faith in your receiver to bail you out, whether you make a good throw or a bad throw. And that's actually going to lead into who my pick is for tight end later on is the security blanket and the fact that this player gives the quarterback that comfort level where they feel confident in bad situations.
Just to add on.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Just to add on Chase, as Phil just said with Debo there, I mean, if you look at Chase's numbers, he's only had, because there's the 3, the 3-headed lions in Cincy with Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. Chase has only had 47 receptions on the year and has been this productive. So crazy numbers that we're seeing from him as well in the terms of being efficient with what he's been getting.
Yep. James, do you have a different wide receiver?
I was torn. I have 2 different guys. They're both slotted, in my eyes, 3-4 range. Actually, there's 3 guys here. So honorable mention, Tyreek Hill, obviously. If you don't have Tyreek Hill on that team with Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if that offense still does what it does. I think he should be in the consideration for one of the most valuable wide receivers to his team. But I think
I would agree, even though everyone who listens to this show knows how I feel about Tyreek.
Yeah, but they're starting to figure out Tyreek Hill, and I think that's what is hurting KC right now. Yeah. And until they can figure out how to get Tyreek Hill open again, I think that's why they're not scoring as much. So, but I think he should be in there. Another guy I think that should be in there is Devonte Adams, who, without Devonte Adams on that team, I mean, Green Bay could still win games, and that's Aaron Rodgers, 100%. Sure. But when Devonte Adams plays, he takes up so much of a presence on that team because you need to watch this guy with almost two guys every single drive and play. It's crazy. And he still comes down with the balls and he still puts up the numbers. And they're so much better with him in the lineup than with him out of the lineup.
Devonte Adams is unguardable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
you never
he's
see
a cheat
him
code.
go up against. Yeah, you never see him go up against a team like, say, even the Rams, where they have a Jalen Ramsey or any lockdown corner, a J.C. Jackson or a Darius Slay type corner. You're never worried whether it be real life football or fantasy football. Devonte Adams is one of the greatest receivers we've seen in a while,
Yep.
and if you think. Maybe he doesn't come out and say it, Aaron Rodgers, but we all feel like Aaron Rodgers has spent his entire career complaining about not having enough weapons.
Yeah.
But they still go 13-3 every year.
Yeah. Well,
that says a lot about Devonte Adams.
Oh, yeah. And he's up there every single year. So, I mean, as much as Aaron Rodgers is the MVP of that team every year, usually Devonte Adams needs his say as well. And without him, I think they'd be different. And then the third guy I want to mention who I like as well, and I think changes the team, goes off of your Kirk Cousins pick. Justin Jefferson has been unbelievable this season again. He's in the, I can't remember what his numbers were exactly. What has he got there? He's got 944 yards on 63 catches, only 6 TDs. I mean, it's not the big numbers he put up in his rookie year, but I mean, he's getting back up there and he's having a good season. And I think without Justin Jefferson there, and if it was only Adam Thielen, I don't think Cousins puts up those numbers and that team doesn't get as well as they were. And Dalvin Cook hasn't looked great this year.
No.
He's been okay. He's been a great, mid-range RB at this point. But I mean, it's been through the air that they've been doing it. And Justin Jefferson, again, is another presence that, when he's out there, you need guys on him. And I think Devonte Adams recently said that Justin Jefferson is the closest thing to a legit wide receiver that he's ever seen, to where you need to watch this guy at all times because he can break off for a certain amount of yards just like that. And look what he did on Sunday. That Packers game, you had Adams versus Jefferson. It was a heck of a matchup between the two. So
Did you see there?
those are the guys there. If I had to pick who I would say, I think it's Adams, but those other guys should also be mentioned in this sort of their wide receivers crazy. There's so many good.
So we got 2 for Debo, 1 for Chase, and 1 for Adams. And all the other receivers we mentioned, definitely right there behind those guys.
Yeah, definitely. So
There's 3 guys. There's 3 guys tied for the most 40+ yard receptions at 6. That's 2 of them. We talked about Chase, Debo, and Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun. I missed Deshaun.
Were those all of his catches on the season?
Deshaun?
Just 4 60-yard bombs or 6 60-yard bombs?
17 receptions for 480 yards.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy.
The best was
400 of those yards were on fucking 4 plays.
Did you guys see his first Raiders game? The catch he made for the bomb, and he's almost open, about to go to the end zone. All of a sudden, he decides to drop the ball or fumble it or whatever he did and loses it and that. It's like, oh,
that's typical Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, it was.
I'm surprised he wasn't celebrating and then dropped the ball too early.
Remember that against Cowboys?
Yeah,
I remember. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. Of course you did.
Let's move on to the tight end category, gentlemen.
What time should you get here?
Let's see here. We got some tight ends out there that have been good. I know a lot of people were high on the Kyle Pitts hype train this season.
Me,
I called at the beginning of the year saying that was going to be a fade, and I'm glad to say that it was. He's not been the best team. That whole team has been in shambles.
Atlanta.
I feel bad for him,
yeah.
but
yeah, but your synopsis of that situation was based on that situation, not an indictment on the skill of that player.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he's
you like Kyle Pitts a lot.
Yeah.
You just knew this year that you had no faith in the system, the situation that they were in. It's Atlanta.
I screwed up on Hawkinson. I thought Detroit and Hawkinson, he's the only guy going to catch the ball. And apparently, nobody catches the ball on that team.
Even though he's good, they just don't have enough of a pass offense. Yeah.
They don't have a quarterback. They're still trying to figure that out right now. But
next year
there's so who are your most valuable tight ends? I mean, it's got to be Travis Kelce's got to be in the conversation. That guy still puts up wide receiver 1 numbers for KC, but everybody talks about Kelce. Does anyone have anyone other than Travis Kelce who they would project as I feel you were talking about a guy I don't think was on our list, so why don't you go?
Yeah, sure. Well, I agree definitely with Kelce. If you're making the argument which tight end is the most valuable to their team, it's hard not to say it's absolutely Kelce. But a guy who kind of fits that exact same role with very similar
Dalton
numbers,
Schultz.
especially this year,
No.
is not Dalton Schultz.
I tried.
It's Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens. He's my pick this year. And we can all probably agree that, yeah, it's usually Kelce. Kelce's role on the team is strictly offensive, wide receiver style tight end, much like the most valuable tight ends out here. What I like a lot about Andrews, and even Kittle, but Andrews specifically, is he is the most important player in that entire offense, not named Lamar Jackson. He is super important blocking, right? Because the Ravens run a lot, and he is the go-to guy without a question on third downs when Lamar Jackson is in trouble. Now, the play design may not be specifically for Lamar Jackson every time on third down, but if he has a scramble or a guy's in his face and he feels stressed out, he is always looking, or sorry, I said Mark Jackson, didn't I? Mark Andrews.
Got a little James on you there. That's what's happening, eh?
Yeah, little Jamesism.
Does anyone? I agree. I think he's great. I've liked him for a few years now. Andrews. And in fact that Jackson is throwing better this year just only helps, and he's catching balls. Normally you hate him because he drops them all, but he's actually catching them. And they're looking good and whatnot. Does anyone have any other tight ends different than those two? Frank, Nick?
I have two names here. They're not okay. When we're going to talk about tight end, of course, Andrews,
Dalton Schultz.
No. Andrews and Travis Kelce,
Hunter Henry
are the top tight ends, no doubt about it. But we're talking most valuable to their team. Phil, you did just say one of them, Hunter Henry, but the other one is Dawson Knox. So when you look at Dawson
that's
Knox,
a good one.
and when he's played for Buffalo, and basically kind of what Phil said in the previous segment when we were talking about wide receivers being a safety blanket in a sense, I think Dawson Knox with Josh Allen right now this year has been a very big safety blanket in the fact when Josh Allen sees he's struggling, he's used Knox as not only his red zone target, but just to feed those balls to that he's catching those different sets of plays when he sees that Stephon Diggs is covered, when he sees that Emmanuel Sanders or Cole Beasley's covered. So I like Dawson Knox in that sense. The injury did hurt, but he's coming back, and even this week he had 8 catches for 80 yards.
Yeah, I like
my
Knox.
other one, like I said, was Hunter Henry. Now, Hunter Henry is on this fact pretty much of being such a big red zone target for Mac Jones this year and the New England Patriots. They're on a soaring part right now where they're winning a lot of games. And Hunter Henry on the year has 7 touchdowns. You look at that New England team, and if it's not the rushing game, which we have no idea who's rushing, and Jacoby Myers has 1 touchdown in his whole career of the NFL, I mean, sure, those wide receivers are getting you yards and everything like that, but 7 touchdowns for Hunter Henry, that is prime safety blanket to go in the red zone for Mac Jones and his rookie quarterback. So those are 2 names that I like that really, I think, are helping their team a lot this year in the sense of what we're seeing them do.
One last guy I want to mention here is a tight end. I mean, he's not I wouldn't say he's the most valuable player on his team right now, but Pat Fireman's been pretty impressive as a rookie for the Steelers. He's come in and he's really effective in the blocking game, and he's a big part of their passing game. He's good, especially in the red zone. So, he's not an elite guy right now, but I think definitely in the future, he's a guy that's going to be pretty valuable to that franchise. He's already a huge fan favorite. Every time in the Lions game I was watching, every time he made a catch, the whole crowd was smooth. Like after 7 games, he's like Franco Harris pretty much.
Yeah,
you can endear yourself with that franchise, you're gonna go far.
He had a ridiculous stat of then never dropping a pass before coming to the NFL in college. It was ridiculous. I agree. I think he's been great. I mean, he hasn't been, you're right, not the most valuable to his team right now, but I think he's a guy that they can build around with a future quarterback, obviously better than the 3 that they have there. So they need a quarterback too, but I like
that
it.
You mentioned Pat Freiermuth. He's super important to the team's offense. You notice it a lot over the last couple of weeks as he's been more involved. Ben has always been known to use the tight end, especially in third downs and in red zones, like Heath Miller of the past.
Yep.
But they run a lot in Pittsburgh too. So the fact that he's a great blocker and a sure-handed tight end, I could easily see him as a top 5 going forward. The stats don't show that yet because he's just getting his wheels under him. He's still a rookie, of course. But by the end of the year, we'll be talking about him some more.
So when we did the other podcast format and we were talking about rookies in the offseason, this was one of the guys' names that popped up when we were talking about tight ends that I brought up. And when I was doing the research on Pat Fryermuth, what was interesting to me is that a lot of the analysts were saying that basically because Kyle Pitts was such a high talented prospect coming into this year, Fryermuth was kind of getting overlooked.
Sure.
But Fryermuth, when you look at his stats and break down everything that he's done in college wise, he was primed to be a really, really good tight end in the NFL. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing, that he's got the tools and the skills to be that guy in the tight end. It's just a matter of time when Ebron gets, canned and it's just Fryermuth's tight end position, right?
I mean,
we'll see what happens now.
Yeah, if I was building my own team, I'd prefer Pat over Kyle Pitts personally for that position. Because the tight end position,
for what he does.
He's just so consistent in what he does in the position as a whole, from the run game, blocking, sure hands. Kyle Pitts is electric, but Pat Fryermuth is very reliable, and that's what I like in my tight end. George Kittle, What up?
I had to throw that in there.
Aggressive fan.
Throw that in there.
Hey, you mentioned Dalton Schultz. He doesn't make the top 10. Okay, that's a lie. Over-exaggeration. But still.
Anyways, those are our most valuable players at the positions. I hope some of you guys see it the same way we do. If you don't, drop us a message. Let us know if we missed anybody. And we definitely would like to talk about it as well. But that's the dry stuff, guys. I think we batted that out. That's there. Let's move into Thursday, Thanksgiving. Football all day. I know some of you are taking the day off work to watch football. I'll be watching football. I'm excited. I've been to a game on Thanksgiving in Dallas. It was unbelievable we
were there together, weren't we? We were at the same game.
We were at the same game, but different places. But yes, it was unreal. Seeing them in Dallas like that, it's just was awesome. The experience, being from Canada, to go there and do Thanksgiving, it's so much better. Everything's football all day long. It's crazy. Everything's shut down.
Amazing.
It was unbelievable. So, speaking on that, I thought we'd have a little fun today. We're going to do a little Thanksgiving Day trivia, gentlemen. You three are going to face each other in 8 questions, and we're going to see which one of you knows your Thanksgiving Day trivia better.
Oh, no.
I've watched a lot of Thanksgiving games. Been a Lions fan.
That's no good.
All right. Are you ready?
Anything.
The first question I have for the three of you, and it's first one who blurts it out wins it if you get it right. All right, just because
we wish to gobble. Yeah. Can we gobble to buzz in or something?
No, just say it.
Yeah, go for it.
Who is the only NFL team to not play a Thanksgiving Day game?
San Francisco.
Ooh.
No.
Damn it.
I'm going to say Carolina.
No.
Ooh.
Tennessee.
No. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
I know.
Really?
Only team to
Makes
never play on
sense.
Thanksgiving.
If you use logic and you figure which team has been the least successful in their franchise, they probably wouldn't get a
fair.
Thanksgiving game.
That's
All
a fair
right.
logic.
Zero.
We're not using logic
So-
here. No, that throws it out the window.
I just wanted to
for-
say my name again. My 49ers.
0 for 1, all of you. Useless. Question 2. Which team has the most Thanksgiving Day losses?
Detroit.
That's
Detroit.
correct.
Damn
That's
it.
correct. Detroit Lions have 42 Thanksgiving Day losses. It's a fantastic record. Okay, let's flip that now. Which team has the most Thanksgiving Day
Washington.
wins?
Detroit.
That's correct. Detroit also has the most wins.
Oh, man.
80 years of Thanksgiving games.
It's the only thing you can get right, Detroit.
Oh, my.
Detroit has 37 wins on Thanksgiving Day. The number 2 team are my Dallas Cowboys. They have 30 wins as of 2021. So we'll see what happens this year. What year did the Thanksgiving Day games begin? Was it 1920, 1934, or 1940?
20. What do you say? The first one.
That's
1940.
correct. That's correct. It was 1920.
Wow.
The National
Okay,
Football
we don't have
League,
to do any more questions. We can't come back.
then known.
Yeah, like what
many-
the heck's going on?
Hold on here. The National Football
Where's
League.
the Cowboys question?
Be quiet. The National Football League, then known as the American Pro Football Association, first played games on Thanksgiving on November 25th, 1920. Of the 6 games played that day, 4 were won by shutout and 1 game was scoreless tie.
Interesting.
Next question is question 5. Frank, you already won, but I mean, at this point, unless no, because there's 4 questions left. You guys can could technically still.
We
beat
could
me.
still technically, yeah.
Yeah, you won't, but you technically could.
No.
Which team has played on every Thanksgiving Day except the 1941-42 as it was World War II?
Dallas.
No,
On every
every
that's a
single
trick
one.
question, but it's got to be the Lions.
That's
otherwise
correct.
it's a
It
trick
is the
question.
Lions.
I was going to say the Lions, but I'm like, it can't be the Lions again.
This is ridiculous.
It's the Detroit Lions. The tradition of the Dallas Cowboys playing on Thanksgiving Day began in 1966 when the Cowboys were still part of the AFL. So they came in a few years later. That's why, because I believe the Lions started in 1934. So they had a good chunk of years before the Cowboys.
Yeah,
were
that
able
makes
to do it.
sense.
It's a trick question. That's why I threw it out there.
You just made
next-
all the answers Lions. This is rigged. How much did you pay
This
him?
is,
Frank?
yeah, like you did this purposely.
I
So
gave
that
him
the
20
Lions
bucks.
could have something that they can win.
You guys can't see this, but Frank is smiling ear to ear right now. It's fantastic. Number 6. Who holds the record for the most passing yards all time on Thanksgiving?
Matthew Stafford.
Can you wait for me to finish? Is it Tony Romo or Matthew Stafford?
It's Matthew Stafford. That's
That's
easy.
correct, Phil. It is Matthew
Jeez.
Stafford. Stafford surpassed
There's a
Tony
question with an
Romo.
answer of a Detroit player or Detroit. That's the answer.
It's our one game, man. It's Thanksgiving. That's our Super Bowl, baby.
I don't
So,
care. I
James,
got
when
a
you
point.
searched
Nick,
up-
guess something Detroit.
So
Wait, James. When you searched up Thanksgiving football trivia, were they all just Detroit?
remember,
like
the
did
Cowboys and the Lions have played in every single game. So
It's true,
anyways.
But I'm saying you picked all the Detroit ones.
Listen, it was Tony Romo's record up until 2017 when Stafford finally passed him in their game versus Minnesota. Nonetheless, next question. How many QBs have thrown for 6 touchdown passes on Thanksgiving Day? Is it 3, 2, or 1?
2.
I believe
I'm going to say
it
one.
is. Yeah.
It's
I say
2.
1.
Nick is correct.
Okay, hold on. I bet you I know who one of them is.
Okay?
Is one of them Jason Garrett?
That is not correct.
Oh, okay.
In
That was a different game.
1977, Bob Greasy tossed 6 touchdown passes in a 55-14 win over the St. Louis Cardinals, while Peyton Manning matched that feat by throwing 6 of his own during a
I remember that game.
41-9 win over who? Frank, who was it?
Yeah, Detroit. I remember that
Detroit
game.
in
That's the only one I
2004.
thought of. That's why I said one. Bob Greasy.
Didn't Jason
though.
Garrett have a big game in '94?
I guess it wasn't 6
Cowboys?
touchdowns. So
It was
he might
5
have, but-
touchdowns and a rushing touchdown.
Oh.
It
Maybe.
wasn't 6. Okay, that's all.
And
James
the
looked at.
last question I have here for you. What was the first award given on Thanksgiving by John Madden in 1989?
I can't remember what it's called. The Gobbler or the Turkey Dinner or whatever?
No.
Was that the Galloping Gobbler?
No.
So then,
Isn't that what it is now?
wow, that's always
I have
different.
no
now.
idea.
The answer is
The gobble gobble.
the turkey leg. Then
I
in
was gonna- I knew he'd give him a turkey
2002,
leg.
it was replaced to the galloping gobbler.
Galloping Gobbler. That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
there it is.
They've also had the
And then-
Iron Award. They've had a bunch of things that they do. I don't
And
think
a
they
piece
give
of
out any
filth.
awards now. NBC stopped it. No one wants to do it.
What about Phil Sims' his mom's blueberry cobbler?
So let's talk about some memorable Thanksgiving Day games, gentlemen. Okay, these ones are going to
Ooh.
bring back some memories. Okay, in 1993, we had Leon Can't Let It Be on
Leon.
Yeah.
a snowy Thanksgiving Day in Dallas in 93.
Oh,
The
man.
Cowboys were clinching, were clinging to a 14-13 lead and under 20 seconds left as Miami lined up for a game-winning field goal try. After the Cowboys blocked the kick, apparently clinching the win, Leon Lett inexplicably slid into the football, making it a live
Touched
ball, which was recovered by the Dolphins. Miami made a field goal on the next play to win the game in the most improbable way. On top of that,
Yeah.
it snowed in Dallas that day, and it never snows in Texas. What a disaster.
You can't talk Thanksgiving without talking about Leon Lett.
Oh,
Yeah,
Leon Lett. Oh my gosh.
They show it every year.
It's one of those things. Is that in the Tony Romo when he's about the Seattle game? Those are the two things with
Oh,
Dallas
yes, the
that'll
fumble.
never.
And he had to try to run it in.
Oh, terrible memories.
In 1998, Jerome Bettis calls
yes.
tails. The referee, Phil
Yes.
Lewis calls heads.
It's tails. He said heads. And the Lions won the game. Kicked the
That's
field
true.
goal.
The Lions went on to win it in OT 1916. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, oh, wow, that was another one. And then,
Yeah,
of course,
remember that?
the next one in 2012, the infamous butt fumble happened on Thanksgiving.
That's Thanksgiving?
That
though?
was Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
When
I remember
Sanchez
that
decided to run into his lineman's butt and fumble the ball. Do you guys have any memorable Thanksgiving Day moments that you can remember that were here before we go into this week's games?
I mean, aside from those big ones, on a personal note, I remember watching Thanksgiving one year, maybe about 10 years ago or so, and I had a Proline ticket going, and the last game was Dallas and Washington. And Dallas was up, I believe, 13-0 with maybe 6 minutes left in the game. And Deshaun Jackson playing for no, not Deshaun Jackson. Who was the wide receiver? I can't remember right now. There was a wide receiver in Washington. Got back-to-back touchdowns in 6 minutes to win 14-13, and I won my Proline ticket.
That's
Not
Santana
only did I
Moss?
win my Proline ticket, yes, Santana Moss.
I hated
Thank
that
you.
guy
That's exactly
so
who it
much.
was.
I hated
I was
that
so
guy.
happy, and Dallas lost. It was a great day.
I hated that guy
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
That guy was a Dallas killer. We could never stop that guy. I don't know why, but he was unbelievable. So
I would pick him up every time he played Dallas just for that week and then drop him the next week in fantasy.
I'll never forget his name.
Yeah,
That's why as soon as you said it, 2 touchdowns and stuff, I'm like, that's got to be Santana Moss.
Yeah, Santana Moss, 100%.
For me, Thanksgiving is really special. You know, being a Lions fan, that's their one big game every year. It seems, you know, every year since as long as I can remember.
You like
Football
just
and
watching a
Thanksgiving.
game, right? It's not about
Lions.
winning or losing. It's just watching, right? That's how that works.
They have the
It's
most
fun time
wins on
anyway.
Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Because of how
Don't talk
many in the
about
past,
losses.
not now.
It's the only day of the year he can talk shit.
It's a
No,
big
he
deal for
can't,
me. You know,
because they still gonna lose.
They have more
Watch.
losses than wins.
it always falls on my birthday week. It's Friday. Tomorrow will be my birthday, so Thanksgiving and my birthday always go hand in hand. I've gone down to Detroit, just a little 4-hour drive. Been down a number of times just on Thanksgiving.
We've been
go
together.
Black
It's been
Friday
fun.
shopping. It's a special time of the year. You know, it starts the Christmas season, in my opinion. You know, I don't know. People in Canada here think as soon as the Halloween stuff's down, Christmas stuff goes up. But for me, Thanksgiving is a nice starting point of the Christmas season, and it's just a good time of year.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, let's talk about this week's games, gentlemen, and let's get into it. And what do we have going on for Thanksgiving Day? Speaking of, we got first of all, Phil, how are our stats doing in our picks?
Well, as of right now, Nick still has the lead because no one has gained anything on him this week. We had a
Yes.
4-way tie of respectable picks for once. Everyone except for Frank tied at 9-6, and Frank did really well too at 8-7. I mean, if you guys have been following our picks online on our Instagram or even listening to our shows, you know that Frank likes to take the underdogs often. And
That's not why this week, though.
No, it's true.
A
This
different
week,
approach.
Frank did exceptionally well because he decided to pick based on his favorite
Choose food.
foods.
Are you going food again this week, Frank? Is that what you're going with?
Frank, you got it.
I
This is
don't
your
know.
best
I don't know.
week.
If it's my best week, I might have to continue it.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
I'll
Well,
think-
I mean,
let's-
I
I'll
like
come
the
up with something.
novelty of it, and I mean, I'm always interested to hear some of the specialties from these regions that I may not know about.
Yeah, 100%.
let's get into
I
it.
was
then.
really surprised which food you came up with.
We what are we starting with here? Well, we'll start with your Lions since they're the first game of the week. We got the 12:30 game on Thursday. We got the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. the Bears look like they're starting Andy Dalton because I do not think Justin Fields is ready to play with his injured ribs from last week. And I think at one point I heard that Goff was going to start, but then I heard he's a game time decision. So if it's not Goff, whoever the heck that guy was last week,
Tim Boyle. I hope it's not him.
Like I don't think it really matters, guys. I don't even know who I want to pick here. I'm the Bears. I'm torn.
Is that who you're taking, James?
I think so. Yeah,
all right.
The Bears.
We know Frank's taking Detroit.
Yeah, I think
I'm taking Detroit. I don't care if they're 0-20 on Thanksgiving or whatever. It's something to look forward to for me. So I got to go with my Lions.
I am taking the Lions for the same reason, Frank. I am actually super excited to hopefully watch their first win. And if they don't get it, I won't take them again for the rest of the year.
Justified.
I picked up Chicago defense this week to play in fantasy. There's a good chance they're going to win. Just want to let you guys know in advance.
If you would have, you know what? I'm glad you told us that. I'm definitely putting the Lions on my Pro Line ticket now.
That changes everything that you picked up the Lions, James.
Am I going to load Dodgers with the Bears? Nicky, you taking the Lions? Go for it.
Well, we have to get Sam's picks from him still, which everyone can find on our Instagram page.
Sure.
Yep.
I really want to go.
Last week for my birthday, I wanted 3 things. I wanted them to beat Cleveland. That didn't happen. I wanted a bacon mushroom melt, which I went to Wendy's yesterday, and they got some new freaking pretzel bun burger. So I don't think the bacon mushroom melt's coming out. The lady that gave me the bag even said, "Oh, bacon mushroom. Oh no, sorry. It's this one now." Like what? They replaced it. So that's 0 for 2 for my birthday. For my birthday.
My gosh, gee, you're gonna go 0 for 3. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
The story of a Lions fan. Nick, what are you picking? Hurry up.
Yeah.
We keep cutting him off. Leave the guy alone.
Yeah, like shit. I tried to say this line 3 times. And you guys
forget the line. Pick a team.
Okay, give me the Bears. I can't do it.
That's what I just figured.
Can't go with the Lions.
All right. The 5-5 Las Vegas Raiders at the 7-3 Dallas Cowboys. You know Nick and I are going Cowboys, so Frank and Phil, where are you going?
Dallas. Vegas sucks. I could see Cowboys treating the Raiders like the fucking Falcons this week.
I hope so.
I like it. CD should maybe be able to play too.
They're saying CD might get in there, so I don't think Amari Cooper will because he's still under that 10-day.
No, Amari can't.
Amari won't play, but I have high hopes for CD as well. I heard he was looking good right after the next game, so as long as he passes concussion, he's good.
Frank?
Yes.
Yeah, I think after that big loss,
4-way on the Cowboys. Yeah.
But hold on. But more importantly, Dallas, Texas. I gotta have the brisket for Thanksgiving. Little side of mashed potatoes, a little smoked sausage. Vegas, you go there, you get the $5 buffet, you shit your pants. So nobody wants that.
Yeah, but that buffet, Frank, you get enough for 6 years. It's like
for 2 hours, you're good. But then after you get back to the hotel room,
that's because you're too drunk to care what you're eating.
That's true.
All right, in the Thursday nighter, we got the Buffalo Bills 6-4 now at the New Orleans Saints 5-5. I gotta go Buffalo because the Saints still don't have a quarterback. They don't have Kamara. I don't like it. Buffalo needs to win this game. I'm going Buffalo.
Man, I went the Saints the week that we just passed, and they did not do anything I said. So yeah, I'm going Buffalo as well. Coming off a loss too, they're gonna come back strong.
I don't like what I've seen out of Buffalo lately.
Do you like what you've seen out of the Saints? The Saints, come on.
I love wings. You bread it, you get the nice hot sauce on it. But if you take a little spin on it, take a Louisiana spin on it, you get a little gator tail. You bread it up, fry it up, a little buffalo sauce.
I thought you would have went to gumbo. Okay, all right, you're going that route.
No. So let's go road.
Wow, we're going Saints. Phil?
Oh man,
Phil's thinking food.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Call me crazy, but I'm going to go with the shrimp jambalaya. Let's go New Orleans as well.
You got it, Newman. Newman's favorite.
All right, you're crazy. It's fine.
Oh, 2-2. I like it. Okay. We go into Sundays, the 1 o'clock. We got the 7-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the 6-5 Colts. This should be a good game. Nick, you start.
Yeah, okay.
I will start. That's fine. I'm going to go with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I know JT's been running wild, but I don't think the Buccaneers will let him do that, and I think Tom Brady will outduel Carson Wentz.
That's not hard, but yeah, okay. Frank, which food group are we doing this one here? What do we got? Tampa Bay, you got
Tampa Bay is like kind of like Vegas.
what do you got in Miami or in Florida? Sorry,
Florida?
You got something Cuban for sure coming out of there, right?
Well, that's more Miami. That's more cultured. But if you go out to Tampa Bay, it's tough to put his food spin on Tampa Bay. I've never been there.
Okay, so what do you got in what's the other team they're playing?
Football-wise, I agree with all the sentiment that Nick has there.
So you're going Tampa.
I think Tampa Bay is going to stuff JT. Most importantly because I'm playing him in fantasy and I'm hoping for it.
Nice.
Hopefully he has a little bit too much turkey.
Phil?
Too much potato and he's slow.
I'm going to go with Tampa in this one. I think JT is going to face the number one rush defense, and they're going to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with Tampa as well. 4-way. Okay. Move on to this is gonna be a fun one. The 2-8 Jets at the 2-8 Texans.
Ooh, that gives Lions another more room for the number one pick.
The Jets have already ruled out that both Flacco and White are not playing. I assume Wilson will be the guy. I don't know if that matters.
They said Wilson starting.
I hope so.
It's gonna matter. I'm gonna go Houston. They're at home.
But I want to go Houston.
That's fine. Take them anyways. That's where I'm going. They're at home.
I'm going Houston.
Frank?
I had 2 servings of pizza last weekend. I'm full of it. So I got to go barbecue.
They both lost,
Give me 2 servings. Give me 2 servings of barbecue this week.
Bill?
Yeah, give me some smoky Texas ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with barbecue, guys.
All right. 2 teams that I hate in this one. We got the 5-6 Eagles and their running back Jalen Hurts versus the 3-7 Giants, who just fired Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator.
Remember him?
I do remember him. There's a reason why the Cowboys didn't want him either. So, I don't like this. I think I gotta lean Eagles though. I'm gonna take Eagles. Phil?
Go ahead.
Yeah, if the Eagles didn't just destroy the Saints this week, I think I'd be confident in taking the Giants at home. They're in a division matchup. I'm really scared. I think the Eagles could easily win this. But you know what? I am going to take the Giants. Upset.
Way to talk yourself
Convinced
out of
Convinced myself.
Frank?
You talked yourself out of taking
Philadelphia.
the team you wanted to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got them for the pizza. I'm done. Give me the big Philly cheesesteak.
Okay, Nick?
Ooh. As much as I hate both of these teams, and as much as I hate the Eagles more, I'm going to have to go with the Eagles in this one. I do not like anything that's happening in New York.
All right, the 5-6 Panthers with the newly starting Cam Newton, who played all right last week, although they lost.
Hey.
At the Miami Dolphins, 4-7 in Miami. I am going to go with the Dolphins.
I'm going to take Super Cam and the Carolina Panthers.
Frank?
Cam.
Phil?
I am also going to take Cam.
Beautiful. I like being on my own.
Not Carolina. We're taking Cam.
Yep.
Just Cam.
Baby.
Yeah, we don't care about Carolina. We care about Cam.
That's all I need.
Superman.
Respect, baby.
People don't play very well when they go to Miami for some reason in these day games, but that's okay.
Yeah, they party.
Let's do the 8-3 Tennessee Titans at the 7-4 New England Patriots. This is going to be a fun one. I will take the Patriots.
I'm also taking New England.
Yeah. Frank?
Yep. They've been looking good, and after all this food, you need a little dessert. Give me a little Boston cream pie.
Beauty. Nikki?
I'm also taking New England. I don't like the downward spiral from the Tennessee Titans right now.
Mm-hmm.
The 5-4-1 because of the Lions, Pittsburgh Steelers at the 6-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Nick?
Give me a Joe Burrow, a Jamari Chase with the Bengals.
Oh, they're Italian now.
Frank?
Yeah, Giuseppe Burro. Not butter, Burro, you know. And Jamada, you call him?
Jamada Chase.
Jamada.
Yeah.
Jamada Capo.
Chase.
For those on there, I feel sorry for our guys trying to make them all Italian. That's something that they do, and yeah, they don't do very well even in our chats, so they're not doing well here. Don't worry.
Yeah, coming from this guy that
Phil, go
can't say
ahead.
his name properly.
Ramadan Stevenson.
Yeah, Ramadan.
Don't be mad that I tell the truth that you guys can't make these guys seem Italian funny. Don't worry about it, okay? Just sit back.
At least we're purposely making their names wrong. You just say them wrong.
I do better than you
That's
guys
true.
purposely doing it, so don't worry about it. Phil, go ahead.
I'm going to continue my trend of trying to catch Nick and take another upset with Pittsburgh.
That's what I wanted to
Is that
do.
all it is
I'm on
at
the
this
Pittsburgh
point?
bandwagon too. I like it. All right. I hate Pittsburgh, but I'm trying to catch him as well. I'll do it.
Guys are rude.
How rude.
The 4-6 Atlanta Falcons at the 2-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. Atlanta's won 4 games. When?
Exactly. They're 4-4. And I'm like, how the hell did they do that? How did they
2 weeks ago, they were in
tried.
the wild card spot.
Yeah.
When? When did they
Wow.
win 4 games? Okay. All right. Anyways,
I don't know.
this is also one of those games nobody's going to want to watch.
Nobody's going to watch.
There's got to be a winner, though, right?
Yeah, pick one, James. Let's see.
I don't know. It's a
you got?
guy.
I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars at home.
Wow.
Nick?
I will take the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. Frank?
Yeah, give me Jacksonville. Atlanta, no Patterson last week. They had no offense.
Bill?
And
Yeah, I'm taking Atlanta and hoping Patterson is back.
Same.
that's the difference.
I like it. All right.
He's got to be back,
All right.
right? Come on.
I mean, I just traded for him in a league, hopefully to use as a nice flex piece for my championship playoff run. So I hope he comes back
Even with
healthy.
Patterson back, I think Jaguars are taking it. But that's okay.
Okay.
The 405
Hope
game, we got the no longer San Diego, the LA Chargers 6-4, who came. That was a barn burner last week, back and forth with Pittsburgh. At the Denver Broncos 5-5, coming off a bye week. Probably their were they on a bye last week? They were, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was the best
Yep.
week. Not seeing them was fantastic. Nick, who you want to go with? Chargers, Broncos.
Give me Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
All right. Frank,
Chargers.
Bill.
I'm going to take the Chargers as well.
Yeah, that's 4-way Chargers.
Well,
Phil wanted to go
we know
and take the Broncos to try and get a
I
point,
can't
but
take
he's
the
like, wait, I'm
Broncos.
going to lose
I have
a
it on
point.
record
No.
that Sam has me saying take the Broncos. This is not going to happen. I will take anyone against them just in spite. That's just how this works.
I consider the Broncos, they're fresh off the bye, which helps. They got a good defense. They got a good run game. But with Kansas City coming on now, I don't think the Chargers have any room to drop games they should be winning, even though it is a division match and they are traveling to Denver. It's going to be close, in my opinion. I don't think the Chargers have the advantage that they may appear to have because of their big win this week, but I still don't think this is a game they can afford to lose.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah,
Fair.
no doubt. Yep.
This could be the game of the week. The 7-3 LA Rams at the 8-3 Green Bay Packers. It's not a primetime game necessarily, so Matt Stafford, the real Matt Stafford, might show up. And from all accounts, everything's okay in Green Bay. We don't know if Aaron Jones is playing, though. I think he might have another week off, but we'll see. Nick, why don't you start us off, buddy?
Wow. This guy, I saw that coming.
So what are
I'm
you saying
going
well for?
to
Just pick.
take... Give me Green Bay against the Rams.
Yes.
At home in Lambeau.
Frank,
I will happily take LA.
Bill's on LA. I'm on LA as well.
I think Frank is too because he hates Green Bay.
You
Yep.
should have known that
I
already.
mean, I want the Rams to do worse, so we got a better draft pick. But I mean, it's the Packers.
Yeah. This should be a fun one. The 5-5 Vikings at the 5-5 49ers. Phil, you're obviously taking the 49ers. We'll lock that in.
You know it.
I'm going to take the Vikings.
Frank.
Frisco.
Ooh, 2%, friend. Nikki?
Justin Jefferson's going to light us up.
I hope so.
But Debo's going to light them
Don't
up.
say
I
that.
agree.
was just
I
gonna
still
say
think
that's what I
San
need.
Fran.
I still
them
think
both.
we're going to win, but I'm afraid of Justin Jefferson.
I need a shootout here.
I'm
200
going.
yards
I'm going
each.
San Fran. I'm hoping their
Oh,
defense.
another
can
one. I'm going to
contain
catch
a
up
bit.
on Nikki this
I
week.
mean,
It's going to be
we
fun.
got
Either that
both
or
our
I'm going to catch
safeties
up on
back
Greco.
now.
I'm not sure which way this is going.
We got Jimmy Ward back. We got Jaquise Tart back. So maybe they
Yeah,
can
you guys
handle
look
it.
good this weekend, so I'm
You
hoping.
got this. You got this.
This Sunday nighter was supposed to be a good game, but we have no idea what Cleveland Brown team is showing up. But the 6-5 Cleveland Browns at the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens. We also don't know if Marquise Hollywood Brown is playing. We assume Lamar Jackson will be back. I don't think he'll be sick, hopefully, for this one. I'll start. I will take Baltimore at home on Sunday night. Nick?
I'll follow suit with Baltimore.
Okay. Frank?
I mean, I watched Cleveland last week against the Lions, and I don't know how the Lions didn't beat them. I mean,
The
I know
Super
how
Bowl
the Lions
favorites,
didn't
the
beat them.
Browns, right? The way they played.
It's the Lions. What do you
They
mean?
dominated them.
We know why the Lions didn't. It's the Lions.
Yeah, well, but other than that, like the Lions should have beat them. Like, Baker can't even walk, so I mean, I can't take them.
Have you
against
seen the
Baltimore.
Lions quarterback? Nobody even knew who that guy was.
That's what I'm saying. If it was any other team, it would have been
The
a
fact
blowout
that they
for-
kept
for-
it close, it just tells you, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'm telling you, that defense is playing well. That's another story.
So you're going with the
So who'd you
Ravens.
pick?
Baltimore,
Yeah.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Phil?
Yeah, Baltimore. Oh, this Monday nighter sucks.
And the Monday
Wait,
nighter.
didn't they switch this?
We got the Seattle Seahawks 3-7 at the 4-6 Washington football team. In one of my fantasy leagues, I may have to start Russell Wilson again, and I'm worried that it's on Monday night and I might lose the week for that reason. I don't like either of these teams right now. I am torn beyond torn. I can't pick the refs, right? I'm not allowed to?
They lose every week. You can
So-
take them.
Go ahead.
I mean, whoever I take here is probably going to lose anyways. I'm going to go Washington. See what happens.
I'm also going to take Washington.
Nick? Yeah, that was my thought too.
I really want to have faith in Russell Wilson again, but he's been so bad since coming back from this injury. Give me Taylor Heineke and the Washington
And Frank,
football team. Yeah, football team. I can't say
Are
it.
they in Seattle?
they're in Washington.
They're in Washington.
Oh boy! I wanted to try and get one up on you guys, but I guess not falling behind is getting one up on you. So give me Washington.
Yeah. I mean, I just got to
Alright.
take the team that's performing with
Yeah, they're hot.
Better.
some
compared to-
effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is our
Seattle's on
picks.
a
That
bad-
is our show today. Frank, from all of us, have a happy early birthday. Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
happy
you, sir.
birthday, Frank.
And,
Bongo blah.
for Sammy, thank you for not being here. We find that when you're not here, it's when the Cowboys seem to lose, and I don't have to hear you say anything, which is fantastic. But on that note, I hope
He's
show
gonna
up
get
for
you next
every
week for that.
single episode for the rest of the season, because apparently the Cowboys lose when you don't come. So we will hopefully see you next week, gentlemen. Enjoy your U.S. Thanksgivings in Canada, whoever's taking the day off and not, and go Cowboys. Have everyone a good night.
The Lions.
Gobble, gobble.
Come on.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Oh.
Gabagoo.